Okay, we are now live.
Good afternoon. Excuse me, my name is Rochelle Sorensen Cox, and I am the chair of the Asheville Transit Committee. Welcome you all to the June 15th, 2021 Virtual Transit Committee meeting. I'll introduce the Transit Committee is a group of volunteers and city staff who serve as a conduit to the various community stakeholders of folks involved in transit and interested in transit and public transportation in Nashville. I want to thank you all for giving your time and your energy to Transit Matters. We will roll first. It's pretty clear, though, that we are not going to have a quorum again. So we've received some resignations, unfortunately. Victoria Greaves has resigned. Does this need to be part of the formal minutes? Should I back up, Kyle?
I remember a couple months ago when Kim Roney had to submit a resignation letter. It took a while for that actually to go into effect. So I was wondering if city staff had any input on that.
Yes, we would like to have a resignation letter from her so we can keep it on file.
But I mean, she sent an email, so is it effective per that email or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you mind to forward that to us? I don't believe that we were copied on that.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. There was also another one from, there were two more, so I'll make sure that we get those others. There's one more that's coming. John Hahn is unavailable today. John Basson is also unavailable today. Georgia, thank you so much for letting us know that you had to leave the meeting early. With that, we'll go through and talk about which members are here. Again, my name is Rochelle Sorensen Cox. I'm the chair and I am present. Brandon Oliver. Brandon, are you with us? Kyle Sherrard.
Right here.
Harvey Harold.
Here. Can you see me?
I can see you.
Okay. I switched over from my phone. I don't know how I done it. I switched from my phone to my iPad. I don't know how I did it.
Well, you look great, Harvey, so well done. Georgia Burtz.
Here.
And again, Victoria has turned in her resignation. John Basson is unavailable today, and John Hahn is having some technical difficulties and is unable to join us today. Jeff Jones.
I am here, and I'd like to ask what we need for a quorum.
I got the answer to that, Jeff.
Yes.
I got the sheet that they gave us back in 2019. Article 7, quorum, Section 1. 4 members of the they're calling us commission. That's another thing I want to go over with y'all. 4 members of the commission shall constitute a quorum sufficient to conduct the business of the commission. Once a quorum is established, it shall not be destroyed by one of the members leaving. So they gave us this back in 2019, and these were the Asheville Transit Commission bylaws.
So the reason I asked, we have 5 of 9. Is that a quorum?
I just said that, Jeff. 4.
4 is a quorum?
4 is a quorum. 4 members shall constitute a quorum. And if somebody leaves, the quorum is still in place.
All right.
Did that indicate how many members were on the commission or committee in 2019?
It goes into detail of saying how many are required and everything. And I think it's 7.
7 are required on the commission?
Yes, but for the quorum, you're going to see the paper. It's just
well, no, it's just that the traditional Roberts rules is 1 more than half. So
we have that, I believe.
4 out of 7 is 1 more than half, and 5 out of 9 is 1 more than half.
Yeah,
correct.
We have our quorum. I'm glad I found that. I found that today. I've been looking for a long time.
Thank you for that, Harvey.
So are we okay?
Do we have a quorum just to ensure that we have a quorum to vote on the items on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, thanks again, Harvey. All right, so if at this moment, I'll give city staff and Asheville Transit staff a few minutes to introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. This is Eunice, the Transit Planning Manager.
Hi, my name is Amy Tester, and I'm the administrative assistant.
I'm Haley Burton, the Transit Projects Coordinator.
I'm Barry Riley, the General Manager for RATP Dev. I'm the only person present from RATP today.
Okay, thanks for being here, Barry. City Council Person Kim Roney let me know that she's unable to attend today too. So at this, we will get started, and this meeting is officially called to order. So now that we have a quorum and we can vote on minutes, I guess, can we vote on May? We need to vote on the May minutes that we didn't. And then do we have outstanding minutes because we didn't vote in our May meeting?
We have April and May.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 sets.
So has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from both months, April and May? Are there any questions or changes? Okay, so we can go forward with some.
I move to amend the minutes.
You vote to amend them?
We have April and May, right?
Yes.
Vote on them separately, I guess.
So is that a motion, Harvey?
Yes.
All right,
We
we've
have to
got a
get on
motion.
with business.
Looking for a second.
Brandon.
Second.
Okay, with that, everyone who votes to accept the April minutes as written, Jeff.
A point of order. Was the motion to amend or to accept?
Accept.
Okay.
Okay, so just to be clear, we have a motion to accept the April minutes on the table and a second. Everyone willing to accept, please say aye. Raise your hands, aye. Brandon, can we get a vote from you? How about Georgia? We need to hear from you. Thank you. Brandon, can you hear us? Okay, I believe we have enough to pass, right? Okay, so the minutes pass. Thank you so much. All right, now for the May minutes, May 18th, 2021. Do you have any changes or additions to those minutes? All right, we're looking for a motion.
I move to accept them.
Thank you, Jeff.
I second.
Second from Harvey, and all who vote to accept the May minutes as written. Show of hands and aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Brandon. We hear you now. Okay. It is my understanding, thank you, Amy, for staying on top of things. Oh, now the agenda. Sorry. Has everyone had a chance to look at today's agenda for June 15th? Can we accept the agenda as it is?
Move to accept the agenda.
Thank you, Kyle. Got a second from Jeff. All who agree to accept this agenda? Hands and an aye.
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 Brandon?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Public comment. Public comment is available up to 24 hours before the Transit Committee meeting. Thank you, Amy, for staying on top of this and for just overseeing this really important aspect of this meeting. It is my understanding that there was no public comment, so we can just move on to the next business, which is old business and the Better Buses Together Transit Center Safety Plan. We weren't able to vote, or I guess we could have now. Thank you, Harvey, for doing the research, but we didn't vote on whether or not we as a committee want to formally accept and promote and approve of and help pass on the Better Buses Together Transit Safety Plan that was part of the Reimagining Asheville. So do we have any comment about that? Is there anything any pressing issues or questions that we can pass on to Carmen? And just to recap, that was really looking at ways to serve the transit community, especially at the transit center, in ways that weren't so police officer centered. Just having some options to that. Harvey, yes, please.
Yes, I'm still staying where I was, but because I didn't see a need to implement the people she was talking about, because we have so many agencies here in Asheville that are able to help individuals when they do have mental problems or they do have problems. And one place is right across the street from the transit system that we have here in Asheville. So that's where I'm at.
Thank you, Harvey. Jeff?
Yeah, I think I appreciate Harvey's comments. I like the plan because it brings those resources directly to the transit center, and they are available immediately when a situation arises, and they bring a perspective of providing assistance rather than necessarily one of rule breaking or rule enforcement. And I think that's something that I want to promote at the transit center, a sense of community, of caring for one another, of reaching out to those who are in need. I'm almost hesitant to do this, but I would be willing to move that the transit committee endorse the safety plan from Better Buses Together. So I make that motion.
Thank you, Jeff. We have a motion on the table. Any other discussion or questions about this issue?
I guess the initial idea was that it would be a replacement protocol, like officer/security individuals be replaced by folks, and to the extent that they would add help for the bus platform and for folks that are using the public transit, I would be, I'd second it. However, there, for me, need to be some clarification on, is this a recommendation that we cut the contract with APD and replace them entirely, or is this an additional support?
Harvey.
Well, I was up there last week, week before last, and as far as, keeping people in line, there was this guy up there, he was 5 foot tall. I had more respect for that man. I'll tell you, he said at one time over the intercom as far as putting your mask on. So he made his voice known to who he was when he stepped out on the platform. And he asked very nicely for those gentlemen to put their masks on, but he said it very stern. And there were some other people out there on the platform. They weren't acting that great either. But once his presence was known out there, he had much respect. So they know who he is. And he, like I said, this guy, he only about 5'1" or 2. But I forgot to get his name, but he had my respect. And apparently they do too. They know who he is. He's transit. And I got much respect for the people that work at transit. I'm not thinking about anybody else coming in trying to move them out of their position, because I think they've got it covered.
Jeff?
I'd like to address Kyle's question. I believe the proposal as written was to replace security with a different kind of individual who would provide assistance. I believe the Transit Committee can endorse that proposal to show our agreement with the concept. I also understand that the city is researching having both in place. First of all, they're doing more research as to what the job requires. And as a step, what I think of at least as a stepping stone is to actually have both. And I really don't see a conflict with that. It's not the exact proposal that Better Buses Together came up with, but if it is a step in that direction in terms of providing that resource, I would be in favor of that approach as well. That's my response to Kyle's question.
Thank you. Brandon?
Yes. Is everyone aware of the lack of response from APD that they have issued? I don't really consider them a viable backup source in this conversation. It would have to be really bad down at the transit center for them to come. So I don't think we should even put them inside of the plans of what we're going to endorse. Unless there's been a change. This is last week when I was speaking to police officers, so I don't know if it's changed yet.
Jeff?
I can address that. The plan, as I understand it, really addresses security officer with, I forget the term that's being used. I think of it as a community resource officer. APD is, not necessarily part of the equation. Obviously, they would always be called in the worst circumstances.
Hey, Rochelle, this is Eunice. I just wanted to add that the city staff continued to meet with BBT on a monthly basis. And at our last meeting this month, part of the discussion is to continue researching, look at our options, what is viable. And as Jeff indicated, the goal is to look at the two options, whether we should have both security guard at the transit station. And so as part of that, we are going to be having a larger meeting with resources from the community, all folks, be it social service agencies, city staff from various departments. And we are continue to talk to BBT, and hopefully at our next meeting, after our monthly meeting, we're going to be talking to a larger group of folks that are interested in participating in the process.
Thank you, Eunice. I appreciate that clarification. Kyle?
I'm just going to go ahead and second Jeff's motion at least for the sake of just promoting the conversation. I know that, it's not like they're going to take this one recommendation and just say, okay, it's done. It'll be hashed up and chopped up and made into whatever the city deems appropriate. So I'll second.
Agreed. Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second on the table. Let's take a vote. All in favor of promoting the research and endorsing the Better Buses Together transit safety plan as it comes together? I'll say aye. Yes, sir.
As a point of information, I believe the city has a policy of actually doing a roll call vote.
Okay.
And I want to make sure that that no one challenges this vote on a procedural issue. And for that reason, I'm going to ask that we take a roll call vote.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jeff. Okay, Georgia.
Aye.
Jeff.
I vote in favor.
Kyle.
Yay.
Brandon.
Yay.
Harvey. Harvey, you were muted. Can we hear from you again? Harvey, will you indicate with a thumbs up or down? We can't hear you.
Nay. My bad.
Thank you, Harvey. That's a no vote for the record. And I vote in favor. Aye. And I believe the motion passes. Thank you. Okay, moving on. An update on the bathroom door. Barry, can you talk to us a little bit about that, please?
That door was reinstalled and finished. Boy, I don't know what the date was. Right after it was done the week after we had our meeting last.
Okay, thank you. Glad to have that that remedied. Okay, moving on to new business. We have a presentation from city staff on the proposed fiscal year 2022 service improvements and expansions. There's no really way to say that without a big smile on my face. This makes me really, really happy. So look forward to this presentation. City staff, please.
Okay. Next one. Hi, everyone. This is a quick overview of the proposed service change for this year. And we're planning to implement the service change in October. So this first slide is just a quick overview of all the different points that we're going to be sharing with the group. So as we have been discussing, we are looking at implementing the extended service hours in all routes, which has been part of the ongoing discussion to ensure that we extend hours on all the routes to serve people that may need service at that time of the day. The other one is to improve frequency on S3 and S6 routes. Route S3 serves Mission Hospital, Asheville High School, Biltmore Village, Asheville Regional Airport, and the Art Center. X6 is also serves Mayhack, the Biltmore Village, Mission Hospital, Biltmore Park, and Art Station. And wanted to mention that both route provide service along Hendersonville Road. And as part of the tasks or activities that we are planning to undertake, we will be reviewing and finalizing service and operational data that we continue to take a look at. That involves mileage as well as service hours. We're also taking a look at time points, analyze the time points we have along the route, and modify them if needed. As part of that, we plan to conduct a run test to evaluate the run times and modify if needed. We're also going to take a look at all the existing route maps and schedule information, and then, if needed, recommend and finalize the route map and schedule changes that we plan on implementing. If there's a need to, we're also going to determine the need for bus stops along the route, especially if there's a need for any, or if we've received requests from the public to add any new bus stops to existing route. Part of that will be conducting site visit and finalize the location based on our analysis. As part of that process also, we may take a look at existing bus stops and determine if there's a need to consolidate existing bus stops along the route. As part of that process, we are also going to draft route maps, schedules for every route, and share that information with our transit committee in terms of giving input, as well as ensuring that we share that information with the public. As part of that process, the city staff and RATP dev will review everything, and based on our analysis evaluation, finalize all the service change maps and schedules. We also, in addition to making presentation to transit committee, we also plan on posting the service changing on our website, buses, and or make presentation at community meetings if needed. Part of the activities also ensures that we are coordinating service change with other transit systems that are provided in surrounding areas. So for instance, on the service changes on S3, we may reach out to Apple Transit and to inform them about the changes and ensure that we're able to at least coordinate schedules so that people are able to transfer to and from both routes. The other thing that we're planning to do is work with CAPE on marketing strategy to inform the public about all the service changes, including, for instance, press releases and ensure that we're responding to comments from the public. The other part of the process is develop rider alerts to inform public of changes that we're making. And then we, in terms of being able to undertake all the activities and implement them or complete those activities, we are recommending the last Sunday of October 2021 to implement the service changes. This ensures that we have sufficient time to complete our tasks. It also enables our RATPF to recruit, train new employees, especially drivers. And then it ensures that we have ample time to print, distribute all the marketing materials that we need to put in place for the service change. So that is a quick overview of some of the things that we're hoping to do. And hopefully next month we can bring additional information if needed to update the transit committee in terms of all the things that we're doing. Thank you.
Kyle.
Yes, I'm really excited about this idea of creating some sort of alert system. I know that I get the text messages when there's like an outage, and 90% of them are voiced to the S3 and S6 for something going on Biltmore Ashland. But I would just inquire, is it something that the cities or transit's considering sending out alerts when a bus is more than 10 minutes late, say? Basically, the question is what's the extent of the alert system? Is it just about is, or are you going to extend it to this bus is 10 minutes late, so leave? Or how far is it going to go?
I believe we do provide that information right now in terms of delays to the system, as well as ensuring that we send text alerts out. Am I answering your question? I'm sorry. I think the system was freezing on our end.
So, well, okay, if that's the case, then what is new about this program?
Say that again.
I said, if y'all are already sending out those alerts, then what is going to be new with this new program? What's different?
I think Eunice is saying that we're going to put out alerts before we make changes so that everyone's aware of these changes coming.
Okay. Thanks, Haley.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. Kyle, does that answer your question? We haven't put them out yet, and we're planning to put them out. And that's what I'm saying.
It does. I think I misunderstood. I thought you were saying that one of the service changes is going to be the creation of a better alert system.
No, I was just saying that we're going to ensure we share all that information with the public, in terms of letting people know what the changes involve.
I have a question about where the alerts are originated. Do they originate from city staff or through RAPT dev staff?
Ideally, it originates from the city staff, but sometimes, depending on what is happening, it originates from RATP dev staff. So a good example of that would be if there's a need to detour bus, and please chime in if there's a need to detour buses. Part of the goal is to ensure that we inform the public as early as possible. So RATP DAF will put information out to advise the public of the detour happening, and then city staff will follow up, make sure that we provide additional information, including text alerts and everything.
So typically, Rochelle, we work with RATP Dev to figure out what those route changes will be, those detours, and then the city issues out the alerts.
Okay, but with Kyle's question where he said, if the bus is running like 10 minutes later, we're about to come into a busy tourist season. So this means that traffic is going to make it so that we're going to see more missed trips. It's just the reality of the situation, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. So that said, when these things happen, sorry, I'm getting a weird alert on my computer. City staff does the alert, so there's, rather than the dispatch or it originating at transit, it's got to be conveyed to the city, and then city staff does the alert.
A lot of times what happens, like David Kitt will send out a notice of a road closure, and then we work with LaShawn to reroute that specific route that we need to reroute. And so we work hand in hand with RATP Dev on that, and then we put out the alerts that staff does.
Sure, and that would be in the case of a known road closure in advance, and that's a great example of preventative or getting ahead of a situation. I guess the question I'm hearing, it was originally Kyle's question and now has become my question also, is if there is a moment, a new detour, a new spontaneous event that happens, what is the procedure for getting that information to the public as quickly as possible?
It's through text alert, Rochelle, because if it's happening in real time, we may not be able to issue a rider alert as we normally do. And so part of that is issue a text alert and let people know as much as possible.
Okay, thank you. I have one more follow-up question. So now I'm hearing two different terms, rider alert and text alert. So these are two separate avenues of information sharing?
They are the same.
Okay.
Rider alert is basically, let's say it's a flyer, a poster, or information put on our website. The text alert is just to follow up and let people know that we've issued a rider alert. So the text alert is a short version of the rider alerts that has been issued or was issued.
So just so you know, for like a typical detour, Rochelle, like that we know about ahead of time, we put out alerts on the website, through email, through this text alert that Eunice was just talking about, and then through kind of like our back-end system that puts out alerts on things like Google.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I'm aware, and I'm so grateful every time I get those. Thank you. Are there any other questions about this or any other issues? Updates? All right, I think we can all again just take a minute to celebrate the hard work that has gone into the creation of the master plan and especially the implementation. I loved hearing at the city council meeting that there's a movement to approve the budget for all of these transit improvements and additions. So thank you so much to everyone who played a part in that. Okay, moving on to operations updates, and this is brought to us by art staff. So I'll turn the time over to Barry.
Rachel, I think we missed a few items under new business.
Oh no, did I?
Yeah,
Well, we sure did. I got so excited about transit. improvements. Okay, so the restoration of fairs that happened on June 1st. Is there any
I
new
believe it's
information on that?
going well, unless Barry has an update. I think it's been going well. We did inform the public we were going to do that, put posters and information on all the buses, take alert, and all the various things we do to notify the public. And I don't believe I've heard anything so far as to what is happening there. And hopefully Barry can provide additional information.
Yeah, after the first week, it pretty well calmed down. Everybody's gotten into the mode of paying fares. And we were all in the mode of taking it as it is that week and the next half week. So yeah, we're all, fares are being taken constantly, and it seems to be working fine now.
Good. Brochure on for passport program.
I believe last year we may have made a presentation to the Transit Committee about the passport program. And just a quick FYI that we are working on redesigning the brochure that we have. This program is something we have in place that encourages employers in the city of Asheville to ensure that their employees use public transportation. And so we have, for instance, Buncombe County employees. We have other private employers within the city that have employees that use the program, and they use it for commuting to and from work. So a quick update, and we can make another presentation if there's a need to, but this is intended as a quick update to let you know that we are updating the brochure, and that we are going to also continue working with employers in the city to encourage employees to use public transportation.
Well, I think that's a great idea, and I appreciate that effort and look forward to seeing that project. Jeff?
Yeah, I'd be curious to know why the passport is good at UNCA, but not at AB Tech. Is there a reason for that I'm missing?
I don't believe you're missing anything, Jeff. I think it's a matter of reaching out to them, and we've, I believe, spoke with them last year, and also believe that we may have talked to them prior to me coming on board. And so it's a matter of reaching out to them again, maybe a presentation to help them understand the benefits of the program and see what can happen. Thank you.
All right, and again, I think the more community collaboration and partnerships with that passport, the better. I think this is such a great idea. Thank you for that. Advertising posted on art buses to become a transit committee member. I hope probably not just transit committee, but all of the boards and commissions. But if we have those posters to show.
Yeah, we do have those posters to show. And this is speaks to the earlier comment you made about some of our TC members resigning. And so this is to ensure that we have the posters on the buses to encourage people to apply to become members of Transit Committee. So this is the English version, and we not only translate posters and flyers that we develop into Spanish and also Russian. Those are the two dominant languages after English. So we just wanted to show or share this with the group.
Jeff?
I think it's a very strong poster. I appreciate your doing this. Thank you all.
Yeah, I do too. And thank you so much for doing this. And I think I've learned a lot about the buses on those advertisements that are on there. I mean, about the opportunities available. And that's how I first learned about boards and commissions. So thank you for that work. Transit committee updates. That's blank. I think really the only update is that we could strengthen our numbers. Harvey, I'll say again, thank you for doing the research to learn that we have a quorum. It feels good to be able to do the work. If you know anyone in the community who might be a good fit for an appointment on this board or this committee, please spread the word. And now moving on to departmental updates from city staff and the monthly transit update memo from May.
So basically, the memo is a summary of all the various projects, grants that we oversee. And in addition, there was a little bit capture of the transit division budget based on what is ongoing. Do you want me to go over everything or just a quick overview since it's been that the memo has been submitted to the group?
Has everyone had a chance to look over that memo? Okay, does anyone have any questions for Eunice?
No.
Okay, I think just a quick overview, or we can all just trust that we looked it over, whatever's more comfortable for you, Eunice.
Okay, so the very first front page is a quick review of the budget discussion and what's going to be happening. What's going to be happening next week on budget approval and what is included in the overall city budget for transit. And so what I did was I attached a copy of the whole document. Maybe it was too huge of a document to attach, but I just wanted to give everyone a sense of what is included in the budget. The next item, which we've already discussed, is a COVID-19 update. What we have been doing, capacity improvement on the buses or increases on the buses, and also reinstating fares, which has already occurred. Capital projects, a quick overview of the digital signage project. We continue to work on that, and I believe the project should be completed by next week, and so that people would be able to see some changes on the platform when they go to the transit station. One of the things we did was we did inform the public as to the work being done so that they could, from a safety point of view, make sure that when they're waiting on the platform, to be conscious of the work that is being done. Bus stop improvement project, we gave the group a quick update, and we'll continue to work on that. Hopefully next month, at next month meeting, we will provide extensive presentation in terms of what's happening, timeline, and everything that we hope to achieve with that specific program. Vehicle procurement, just a quick update to let you know that the Gillick buses should be arriving hopefully at the end of this month or early next month. It's currently under production, and so we keep in touch with the bus manufacturer to let us know what's happening with that. And so hopefully we get those 2 buses again by the end of this month or early next month. In terms of the additional vicinity buses, right now we anticipate receiving those buses by winter of next year, 2022, due to some delays that they experienced at the plant. So stay tuned, and we will be providing additional information as we continue working with them. Mobile lifts is, as shared with the group previously, these are equipment that I use to host in the buses up to make repairs on the buses, maintenance and everything. We recently purchased one and we are in the process of purchasing another one. And so we've ordered the second one, and it's just a quick update on some of the things we're doing. On the grant section, just a quick FYI on the various grants that we use in providing transit as well as implementing capital projects. So it is the JARC, it is the 5310, the coronavirus grant program, and also the American Rescue Plan Act, which we continue to work with the MPO in terms of what's happening on the various funding that we use. Transit planning studies, we don't have any update for the maintenance garage facility feasibility study at this time. And I also provided a quick update on the regional transit feasibility study that is ongoing with the MPO managing that process. The last study is the Biltmore Avenue, McDowell Street corridor study, and we don't have any update on that. And that's it for me. Any questions, please?
Jeff?
Yes, Eunice, I wanted to make sure that I was reading some of the budget numbers correctly. Actually, I don't have it in front of me. I think the city is committing about $1.1 million more towards transit in the next year's budget. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's what I've seen so far.
All right. I went ahead and followed the link to the city's actual budget to page F9. And I noticed that only $385,000 is going to operational costs, which I think is the RATP Dev contract. And so that's much less than half of the increase. I just want the rest of my transit committee members to know what I think is going on is that has been some loss of grants money that's coming in. Which might be causing more of the need to increase the city's part or city's commitment to transit. Do my numbers sound about right?
Jeff, I don't have the document in front of me, so what I can do is double check on the numbers you're referring to on the page, and then I'll report back to the group.
Okay. Barry, does that number sound about correct? The $385,000 additional in operational costs for next year?
I think we need to let Eunice dig into that and see where that number is.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Eunice. Sounds like you've been very, very busy, and I appreciate all you do. Operation updates from ARC staff, please. Monthly RATP Dev reports and update.
Yeah, the reports are all here attached. Jeff had mentioned the OTP for May was running at 75%, and we were talking before the meeting started a little bit, which is a good number. The last run I look at, I think we were at 3,500 passengers a day, which is backed up to a strong ridership rebound in the last month, which is good. But that will affect OTP. And the traffic, the weekends, they're all being affected. So, our objective is to keep it above 72, and that will be what we're trying to do with it. Okay. Those are broke down by route there. If anybody has any questions on that, let's have a look. I'll just pull. If we go to, I just lost all of my stuff. No, there we go. And as you drop on the PMs, we had PMs all on time this last month. And if you drop down to the ridership report, you can see that for May, we did have ridership climbing all along. So if anybody has any questions about that, I'm happy to try and field it. Any questions on those?
Jeff.
So I just want to offer a comment. I read all of the complaints, Barry, in the report, and I just really want to give a shout out to LaShawn. You know, there's a lot of stuff that comes in those complaints. Some of them are very they use language that is not kind, and I find that LaShawn always responds with kindness when she's responding to riders, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. Nothing jumped out at me. We talked about an issue last month, but just again, appreciation for LaShawn. I'm sorry she's not on the call.
I will make sure that she is aware of it, Jeff. And yeah, she does a wonderful job in dealing with the customers and interacting with them, and really. She has a wonderful way of saying, no, that's not true.
She has to say that a few times.
Yes, she does. She does.
What riders report is not confirmed by the video, and that's what she has to say sometimes. And she's also very willing to CID, which I had to learn what that is. I can't tell you what it is, but it basically have to tell a driver that they did something that was not a good thing to do. I don't know what CID stands for.
Caution and instruct the driver.
Caution and instruct driver. Yeah.
Yes,
and those show up in the reports, and that brings integrity to the report.
Yes, it does. Very good. I will make sure she hears that. Thank you. Any other questions at all? Okay.
Thank you, Barry. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Rider experience. First of all, I want to just take a little minute to ask who on transit committee has ridden the bus lately or has a good experience. Harvey, is your hand up?
Yes.
Tell me.
I'll take a stab at it. I had issues with the VA, and we couldn't do anything about it as far as transit. VA wasn't letting transit up there, but they were supposed to relook at the issue. I advocated for all the veterans that I advocate for, and Barry, his hands were tied, and they were supposed to relook at it in July. And thank God that man sitting behind that chair called transit and said, "We letting y'all go. Y'all come back up to the VA." That stops a lot of veterans from walking, having bad days. Because I've had a couple bad days walking up to the VA, because that's a nice walk from Ingalls all the way up to the VA. It's all the way uphill, and then to catch the bus, you got to come down that hill, whether it's raining or whatever. Just if you want to catch the bus. But we're back in business as of the 7th of June. And when I catch my bus next week, I'll be on the bus all the way to the top. And I like that.
That is great news. Good. Harvey, thank you.
And the buses, they were very, very clean. I had some issues with people on the bus not wearing their masks and not taking up. That's why I haven't mentioned it before. I went through transit and had those things, looked at. And like I said, that little guy that was on the platform, they might not rode that bus and had their mask on, but when they got off, that little guy, he was right on top of it. And he was on top of it. He went right up to him. And they put their mask on in transit. They didn't have it on the bus. And also the driver, he wasn't wearing the bus. I immediately told supervisors about that. That situation was also handled, and I appreciate LaShawn for that. And the supervisor that was on duty, the blonde-haired lady, she put out a message that about 5 or 10 minutes later, all drivers, please wear your mask. And that was a good thing. And I noticed also today, advertising prices go up on the buses as far as the literature. And like I said, all around, I would just like to commend all the drivers and the supervisors at Transit. Very good job.
Nice, Harvey. Thank you. I'm glad to see you back on the buses. Look forward to riding with you someday. Anyone else? Jeff, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, I'm appreciating just masks are made available on buses. They're in different places on different buses, so it took me a while actually to find them. But they are attached to most often they're attached to the door that the driver shuts. But in some instances, I think it was a vicinity bus, the masks actually were hanging. This may be a concern actually. The masks were hanging from a hook, which would be used to secure a wheelchair. So if a wheelchair came on board the bus, the mask would have to be moved. But for the most part, again, the masks are there. I appreciate that they're being made available. So that's my report.
Excellent. Anyone else?
Jeff, I'll follow up on that just to find out what the vicinity's got there. That there should be a box.
What I looked more closely, Barry, I just didn't know what the status was. Does the vicinity door come down from the top rather than close like other doors?
Oh.
This is actually way in the weeds. We don't need to talk about this, but thank you.
Yeah, you're right. But I will look into it and see what we've got going there. That there should be a box with masks available.
Georgia, did you have an experience you wanted to talk about?
No, I don't, but I would like to say that I've noticed everything is real smooth. Everything's been done very professional. It has took us to another level.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. I did receive an email from a friend who told me that she was very pleasantly just surprised and proud of a driver who took the time to clean up a broken piece of plexiglass at the Walmart stop. And so that was either the driver of the WE1 or the S5. And she just wanted me to pass on that she thought that was a driver really going above and beyond to make the bus stop a pleasant and safe place to be. So I'd just like to pass that on. Are there any other questions or ideas, comments? Well, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate everyone's time and energy. Jeff, have you got some parting words?
Yes, I noticed that the July meeting is scheduled for July the 13th. That's not the regularly scheduled meeting date. And I didn't know if it was a typo or if there's a reason it's been changed.
That's a good point. Thank you. Because generally we would meet on the 20th. So I appreciate you bringing up that very important scheduling. Can we get confirmation from the city about that change?
We'll look into it and send out a confirmation.
All right, great. Anything else? All right, y'all spread the word, please, to your friends and neighbors. We're looking for new members of this committee. Everyone, thank you so much for your time and attention, and we'll see you on the bus.
Hey, Rachel, one other thing.
Rochelle,
We're hiring drivers.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Mention that to friends and neighbors.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. I mean, what a great job. It's my understanding that everyone needs drivers. So, yeah.
Yes, we all do. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Barry. Appreciate it. Bye.